Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, everybody. We started a few minutes early because this is lucky episode number 13 of Real Talk. And if you're watching on YouTube, I want to remind you that we're usually buttoned up on the channel, but for Real Talk, we let our hair down a little bit. And so a little bit of adult language and things like that. So just beware. Wow. Marianne, Brandon, Gerald, hello. Good to see you. Alfie, and I'm sure I missed somebody. Mr. Watson. Jay Kramer, good to see you as well. Thank you, everybody, for popping in so early. We're a little bit early. We'll see if SoSharpDavid joins us here in just a moment. I hope everybody's doing well on this Friday evening. Oh, you're from the Philippines. Great. What kind of weather are you having? I hope it's more pleasant than we're getting right now. Hello, Jacob. Everything is... Mark, good to see you. And by the way, we're just waiting a couple of minutes here, so please bear with me while I'll just see who's popping in. Sepherton Shaves, the great Sepherton Shaves is here. Thank you, Seth. There's SoSharpDavid, so let me add. One thing I got to do is get my ears on because that will not make for a good experience if I don't get my ears on. Just a moment. Sorry about that. Should have done this already. I apologize. I am not prepared. Shady, good to see you. Let me make sure I get my ears on here real quick. All right, let's add David. There we go. And just in a moment. Hey, Dave, good to see you. Daniel. Plenty of giveaways tonight, or at least a few, that is. There he is. How is it? What it is? How's it going?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Pretty good. Hey, Chad. Daniel. For me tonight, it will be the magnificent Stella Artois. So here's to everybody watching this evening. And we do have a few giveaways for this evening, so that'll be cool. We have a giveaway from Strike Gold Shave. That will be Santa's Chestnuts, which will be awesome. We have a $20 gift card from the Eraiser Company. Thank you, Jason, at the Eraiser Company for that. And we also have the Tony Dellett. Now, I want to mention something about the Tony Dellett. I've been calling it the Tony Dellett bowl. It's not his original design, but he does print and sell these. He does, on his form now, he has credited the design. So we'll be drawing for this one tonight as well at some point. So a few giveaways there. Sepherton is here. That's very important. You have to have Sepherton. Where's Magic Mike? Hey, Reed from the Shave Cave is here, or Shave Cave, not the Shave Cave. Apologies. Blue is banger. Yeah, I like the blue too. That's a good looking bright blue.
It's a damn good looking blue. I'm actually a fan.
Good looking
I'm a fan of that blue.
Kim Gray joined. I'm pretty sure that's Kim Gray, David, and she has really been getting around to the channels, watching a lot of videos. She is newer as a hobbyist, but she's just really been supporting a lot of folks, enjoying it. So thank you, Kim, for joining. I really appreciate it. There's Taylor Alejandro.
I'm not familiar with her, but welcome.
Also, Raza did you know that Raza has reappeared? He's emerged from whatever hole he was in.
He actually commented on my last video, which was a shock. I'm happy to see you, man. I know you've been busy moving and getting settled in, man. Raza, we miss you, homie. I'm glad you're here.
We've missed Junior as well from his 2-week social media sabbatical, the non-sabbatical, as I like to call it. We have definitely missed Junior. Colombian Shaves, hey, man. This is very light, very, very light. So no worries about weight on this one. Doug Bear, hello. Good to see you this evening, sir. Thanks, everybody. We really appreciate it. Thanks, Raza. We look forward to seeing one of your videos soon, hopefully, when you get your gear together. All right, we got a lot of stuff this evening. I put out a little feeler for content, just asking people what they want to talk about, and there's a lot of stuff. And again, let me mention the giveaways one more time. We have one from Strike Gold Shave. Frank at Strike Gold Shave is giving away Santa's Chestnuts. Kim said she loves your Rocio's videos, by the way, David. So
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
We have the Tony Dellett printed bowl. And we also have the Razor Company with the $20 gift card. Man, Frank and the Razor Company, they really have been good to the show with giveaways. So thank you both. And thank you, Tony Dellett. We really appreciate that. DK, I'm having a Stella Artois, which is like I wouldn't call it a daily driver, but I do drink them fairly often because they're a good, smooth, easy drinking beer for me. Like, show what you were drinking again, David. I apologize.
Oh, no problem. I got right here. I got a Bottle Logic. This is their Space Jam barrel aged stout. This is coconut raspberry stout. So cheers.
Nice. Sepperton is drinking Angel's Envy. That's a good bourbon. Okay.
Oh, man.
Let's go ahead and start off with a question. And I went on the channel earlier this week and said, hey, what would you guys like us to talk about? And it's Daniel, I think. So I'm sorry if I'm getting it wrong. He mentioned that David often mentions the word community. And he would like to know what that means. Does it mean just YouTube? Does it mean Instagram? Does it mean Reddit? Does it mean, forums? What do you mean when you say community?
Generally, when I say community, I intermingle YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Many of us that are on YouTube, or many of our viewers from YouTube, are often Facebook members, group members, and Instagram shavers. We're pretty intertwined in terms of who's in each platform. Reddit kind of is its own individual thing. So there is some Redditors amongst our group, but for the most part, IG, the YouTube, and Facebook really does kind of intertwine and have a lot of cross membership in the platforms.
So when I say community, I mean the community.
The reason I'm pulling this up because DK loves these guys.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
I seen DK popped in, so I just wanted to say cheers, DK.
I mean community at large, all platforms. Even though I'm not in every single platforms, they're all part of the community, and a lot of them are active in different areas. And so years ago, I was active in the old-fashioned forums. I'm not really anymore because honestly, there are so many platforms. You just sort of have to pick your spots. And so, but when I refer to community, I mean all of us at large. So good question, Daniel. We appreciate that. So Tim and Mike asked, can good technique overcome a blade? And we're talking about maybe a straight razor edge, but let's start with machine blades. Do you think good technique and learning what your face can tolerate and so on can overcome maybe a blade that isn't the best for you?
In terms of a DE razor, the technique is real basic and there's nothing real special you can do. If the DE blade isn't compatible with your skin, you're probably pretty screwed. It's going to be a rough shave because there's not enough variables or things you can change in your technique that can save you from a bad blade pairing for a DE shave. My opinion, of course.
I have a little bit different take on that, and a lot of people don't know Fuzzy, and some do, but his take on things are a razor is a razor, and a blade is a blade. I wouldn't go that far, but I think, I'll give you an example. Early on, when you used to buy, say, 8-10 years ago, when you bought an Edwin Jagger razor, it came with a derby blade. And you would use it, and you didn't know what you were doing, and you would get a terrible shave. Years later, I revisited the derby blade and found that it really didn't have anything to do with the blade. It's not a crazy sharp blade, but you can get a shave or two out of it once you have developed your technique enough. I find that now I can use pretty much any DE blade in existence. I'm not going to get a bad shave out of it. Doesn't really matter the blade. Some are better than others, but I can use pretty much any DE blade. So I think somewhere along the way, I think you can learn to get along with different blades. That might not be the case for everybody, but it is for me. And so there's really there's not a blade that I just wouldn't use. I just go ahead and use it. It might not be as good as the other one, but I think you can adjust over time. To give you an example, when I started straight razor shaving, the feeling is completely different of that blade. It's so much different. In the first week or so, my face felt a little bit fatigued. There was no irritation or anything, but you could just feel fatigue. And as it adjusted, it no longer, now I don't feel any fatigue whatsoever. So I think you can adjust to things. So that's sort of my answer. Now take that question to like a straight razor edge.
A straight razor edge, because not all edges will work for everybody, because of the differences in our hair. I have discovered I have medium to light hair growth. As long as it has to meet a certain requirement for a minimum amount of sharpness. Obviously, how to measure that I don't know, but it has to be able to cut through my hair. Even if it's rough and or smooth, I'll be able to be just fine because my technique is much more relevant when it comes to straight razor shaving. Again, it has to be at least a certain level of sharpness, which again, there's no way to measure, but once you're feeling it on your hair. But yeah, technique, I think it accounts for more with straight razor shaving.
Some are sharp but tuggy, Art says.
Yeah, fucking assholes.
I think with a straight edge, you can just have some plain bad edges that just aren't shave ready. Most machine blades are going to be sharp. I assure you, you can cut yourself with even the worst of machine blades. The worst cut I ever got was with a derby blade. I grabbed it off a shelf thinking it was an empty wrapper. And as I was walking to the trash can, started wadding it up, and I got a very bad cut on my finger. And so almost all the machine blades are they're at a shaving level of sharp, all of them. Now, you may not enjoy it, but they are. That cannot be said for straight edges. Some straight edges, if you get them and they're poorly honed, they're just not ready to shave. They're not at that level. And so I would say with machine blades, over time, you might be able to sort of beat it into submission, or your face can adjust. But straight edge, I think you just got to have a good edge for you. That's at least my thought on that. All right, let's go on to the, well, Mike and Tim both sort of asked that question. Tim shaves and Mike. So let's go ahead real quick and do the drawing for the Tony D bowl and get that out of the way. And the way that folks entered this, if you watched the last Real Talk, was to go to Junior's video and comment. I don't know if you can see that. Well, sharp but tuggy. And so we had 42 people that did that correctly. And so what I'm going to do is just go ahead and hit the start button.
Was it hashtag sharp but tuggy?
Yes. And who does that say? Tom Hagen. Tom Hagen is the winner. So Tom Hagen, and it could be, he might see this on YouTube or he might see it here. You are the winner. And if Tom doesn't claim it within a week or so, then we'll do another drawing next round. But thanks to all who entered that. And we do have another couple of giveaways. So have no fear. We have a couple of more tonight. The next topic I had for tonight was, and this was just fun, and we were having fun with it a little bit today. Hey, Robert. Mel and Nate being the Kobe and Shaq. How would you respond to that? The Kobe and Shaq of shaving.
Well, I'll tell you, they are a dynamic duo that excite me to watch all the time. Great energy. Mm-hmm. Very generous motherfuckers that they are. And I love those guys, man. You can call them Shaq and Kobe. You could call them Jordan and Pippen. I don't really care. I like that duo. That is a duo for me that, I'm riding with them to the end. I'm riding with them.
I would say that's a good duo. Yeah, I found it funny when I heard Leatherhog. And by the way, if you have not checked out Leatherhog's latest edition of his podcast, he has Mel and Nate on the podcast. I recommend you go check that out. It's a great conversation. They're guys that just really enjoy the hobby, and we have a lot of fun. And I want to say Nate is such a good sport. Whenever we're in groups, we're just constantly throwing, stuff at Nate, and he just rolls with it. And so thank you, Nate, for being a good sport. I really appreciate it.
You and Junior, and fucking Robert Kamara specifically like to harass the shit out of Nate.
We do.
And Nate takes it in stride, man. I love you, Nate, because, I would have punched your asses already by now.
He's a really good sport, and I do appreciate it because you got to have fun with people, and he just does a great job, as does Mel. Everybody knows Mel's a great guy. And Melly Mel is in the live right now, so awesome. Oh, Jerry Rice and John Taylor. That's a good combo right there. That's a very good combo. All right, let's see. Alan asks, is the Wolfman polished version worth the price it commands, $500-600? I'm not even sure what it commands right now. What do you say on
Um, if there isn't a certain degree of handwork into an item, I can't justify spending that type of money. The majority of work done on DE razors are done with a CNC machine. You program it in, it does the vast majority of the work. The only work that's usually done by hand, if at all, in a DE razor is the polishing. I cannot justify spending $500-600 on something that a machine did. I can't do it. I've used Wolfman razors, and although I enjoyed the shave, I couldn't justify spending $300 at the time. So the $500-600, it's out of the question.
My answer would be, for me personally, no. But for someone else who gets that level of enjoyment and they buy that razor and it brings them a great deal of joy and happiness, and if they have that sort of income to do it, then I say go for it. But in terms of the shave, I've owned two in the past, and no, it's a terrific, well-crafted razor. But honestly, that price is beyond what I would pay for it, because there were so many other razors that you can get for a fraction of that price. You can basically get two premium razors, or sometimes even two premium razors and a very good stainless razor for that price. So for me, it's beyond what I would pay. But I'm not critical of people who want to spend that kind of money and they enjoy it. Like the Chief got one. He really liked that polish and the way it's a beautiful looking razor. So I just say, personally, if it makes you happy and you have the money, go for it. But I'm not going to do it. It's not worth it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If somebody has the funds and that's what you want to do with it, that's good. I don't care what people do with their money. Just for me, I can't justify that cost. Now, if we start getting into straight razors and how much stuff has to be done by hand with those, that's a little bit of a separate issue and a different discussion. At least for me, whether people would agree with it or not. But the DE razors, I can't.
So Alan also follows up and says, are other razors just as good? And I'll start this one off. The answer is yes. In terms of shaving, there are many razors that are just as good in terms of efficiency and the way they shave. I think what you're paying for when you're getting the Wolfman is craftsmanship, or that high polish if you want it, knowing that's one guy doing the work and so on and so forth. You're paying for his time and the fact that it takes him a long time to make a razor the way he makes them. But in terms of shaving, there are plenty of razors that shave just as well as the Wolfman, personally. And I can say that having owned two myself. David?
You are paying. It's a great fit and finish. The design work that went into the Wolfman is phenomenal. It's great, but is it far off from a Game Changer, a Lupo from Razor Rock? No. Is there a difference? Absolutely. There absolutely is a difference, and I wouldn't pretend that there isn't. But that gap in how much better the Wolfman is would be easily worth maybe $150 more. To pay $500 more for it, no. The shave isn't. It may not. It's not even better at all, personally. Again, depends on preferences as usual. But no, the extra better fit and finish and polish isn't worth it for me.
I think a lot of times people forget that the most important part of the shaving product is here and here. These two things, your hand, your brain, and the ability to coordinate the two, and also what you know about what your face will tolerate and how to do it. I think most people, given time, using a particular set of tools, can learn to shave with almost anything. There are exceptions to that, but that's really, we focus on gear because we're hobbyists. But when it comes down to it, it's you. It's really what you know and what you do that makes the most difference, as far as I'm concerned. I'm sorry, Frank is, by the way, thank you, Frank, for the giveaway tonight. We've mentioned that a couple times earlier, and we will get to that. Thank you very much. Okay. Kim ask a question, Kim Gray, and she's here tonight. And what I'm going to do, Kim, I'm going to take this question and do it on a video because it'll be easier for me to pull out all these synthetic brushes and show you. She basically asks to go through shaving brushes or what are the differences between. And I've got a big variety of synthetic brushes, and I will take that one onto a video because we could go all night on that one. So we'll come back to that one. Let's go to Anthony, and he wants to know if Gillette. We've seen their offering with the Heritage razor, and they're offering with the one that was at Walgreens, which I can't think of the name, King Gillette, I think it was called, razor. Do you think they'll ever make a razor themselves, Gillette, produce their own razor?
I don't. I think personally, I feel that the razors they released were money grabs. I don't think they would want to invest the money in the, I don't know, I guess the word would be tooling, or for the machine to be able to do the tooling to make their own. Do they have the money to do so? Yes. I don't think they will invest that money. I think they will continue to occasionally release more Pakistan-style copied razors off of the Edwin Jagger or Merker head, even though I would love to see them even bring back some of their old designs. But I just don't believe they will, because I don't know if they feel it'd be worth it to spend the money on the machining or whatever machines it takes in order to pull that off.
I'm not sure that they will. I think they're making such a big profit margin on their cart razors and all their other products that I'm not sure that there's a tremendous amount of profit for it in them to produce themselves in the United States, especially a razor, which you can buy blades for $100 for $6 or $7 off Amazon. That's not a money maker for them. Even if the razor itself is $100, that really pales into in comparison to what they charge for several months of carts. And so it doesn't make financial sense really for them to do it. And they've been, I'm not sure what the reason is for releasing the ones they have, which were not made by Gillette. But I don't think there's a financial incentive for Gillette to make razors themselves, personally.
I agree. I agree.
CB from CB Shaves in the UK asks, why are there so many limited soaps, and why is there such a focus now on limited run soaps? And I'll take this one first, and then we'll go to David. And the answer is money. It's the artisans are in this to make money. I certainly don't have any problem with that. They don't really attract me. Limited offerings are not really that attractive to me. I'll get one every now and then, but I really like to use things that are more accessible to people. I don't always do that, but it's especially the companies who do a very small run of a handful of soaps and then they walk away from it and they never make it again. That's not attractive to me personally. It does leave the folks in Europe on the outside looking in, because there are so many artisans here. And when they do a limited drop, it's just really not practical for someone outside of North America often to give them. It's so expensive for them that, I'm somebody who hopes that some of these barriers to commerce will be lessened so they can participate and get a lot of these offerings. But sadly, the limited offerings are really tough for people outside North America. Your thoughts?
It's simply a way to make the most money by doing the least work. The more inventory you have laying around, every day it stays in your warehouse, or whether that be your garage or your closet, you're losing money off that product. So making something limited causes a buzz, make people want it, and people will go out and buy it. Wham, bam, one day you're done. So it's pretty much just a way to have the least investment for the most return for that investment. And that's pretty much just what it is. It's capitalism. Get the most money for the least work.
The other thing that for me, and sometimes people ask, why don't you grab this or that? It's because we have friends and so on who work in jobs. Like my wife, for example, is a therapist. If she were deeply into this hobby and wanted to buy a soap in the middle of the day, there's no possibility. She's going to be with a client. She cannot stop what she's doing with a client to buy that soap. She would never be able to get it. We have people like Mel who work jobs where it's impossible unless they make other arrangements. And I'm one of these people that's like, I want mail to be able to get it. I want someone who is working. There's some jobs where you can't even take a cell phone in. Security is very tight. Healthcare workers, there's all sorts of people who just simply don't have access. Not everybody has an administrative job and sits at a computer or can have their phone. And so those people miss out. And generally speaking, I like to use things that are a little more accessible, and I want everyone to be able to participate. That's how you grow it. It's not by catering to the upper crust or the people who have the good fortune of having a job or where they can, sit and hit refresh on a browser or what have you. That stuff just doesn't appeal as much to me. Every now and then I will get one if it's special in some way, but it's nothing I'm going to make a steady diet of. Your thought?
Just real, well, that whole business model, I don't agree with. I don't like creating a product that people have to jump on top of each other for. I've never been a fan of the whole concept of like a Black Friday, where people first ones get all the benefit. I don't like that. Is it everybody's right to conduct business that way? Yes.
Sure.
But it's my choice as a consumer to not support that business model.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'll continue to do. It's just that simple. I won't support that. I don't have to support it. And I'm fine if somebody wants to conduct business that way, but I'm not gonna fuck with it. That's just not my style.
Yeah, I agree. It's just one of those things that makes it really hard on people. And there's so many people who work jobs that, maybe you're a truck driver, there's just sometimes where you can't be at a computer. And, I just prefer, I like folks where you go to their website and it's in stock, or if it's not in stock, they're going to make it again so everybody can participate. That brings me a lot of joy personally. That's the way I feel about it. So Franklin and
Chris.
Yeah.
Before you actually go on to the next one, Ken Shave 326 made a good point.
Mm-hmm.
When we're talking about whether Gillette would make their own DE razor. And he said with a company like Merkur that is in financial hardship right now, going out of business doing that, it definitely doesn't look like Gillette would want to enter that market with the largest company probably hurting. I will say, though, adding to that, though, Merkur made the mistake by never evolving. They pretty much just changed a bunch of handles out, but they never changed or customized the performance of their head. They've had the same head design for probably 50 to damn near 100 years. I don't know this was specific, so I wouldn't even pretend to. But the whole thing with capitalism, it's supposed to force people to evolve. And Merkur refused to do so. So that was definitely spelled doom for them when there's so many other people that say, hey, I like what you do, but I can do it better. And that has proven to be the case. So they never changed anything. You have to give people a reason to come back and do business with you. Once I own one Merkur razor, it is really unnecessary to buy another one. Why give them repeat business? Because I'm going to get the same exact experience from them no matter what I get, except for the fucking future, which I think the future,
adjustables, yeah.
And those were shitty, in my opinion. I don't like them. I know some people do, but I also know there's a large amount of people that don't like them. So you have to continue to release stuff that to stay relevant. And yeah, you're a good entry level product, but you don't give people options. Again, you give people handle options, which is great, but at the end of the day, that really doesn't affect or change your shave in any way, shape, or form.
I like the progress, and I don't mind the future, but I completely understand what you're saying. So Franklin and the Three Stooges asks for us to talk a little bit about modern razors versus vintage. And I'll start off by saying that early on, I tried basically every high-end razor there was, stainless steel razor, and I was convinced that when I got Fat Boys and Slims and Black Beauties and virtually every vintage razor that they were garbage, that they were not good. And what I realized was, once again, early on, I didn't know what I was doing. I came back to vintage razors later on, once I learned how to shave properly, and then I realized they shave just fine. They are more mild as a rule generally relative to modern razors, but look, they've stood the test of time. They're still out there, and for me, I can use either one. I don't use them as much because they're not quite as efficient, so I might have to work a little bit harder to get to the same place. But ultimately, I think either will work fine if you learn how to use them. Your thoughts?
Well, I think it's just like with the modern razors now. You have to use enough of the vintage razors to fit something that you enjoy, that fits your preferences. I've tried all the super speed razors, and the only one that I have kept has been the red tip.
Red.
The red tip fits my preferences in a razor. I've also tried the Fat Boy, and I've tried the Slim. The Slim, something about its head design, and I would think it's the same as the Fat Boy, but
Doesn't feel the same.
blades don't feel the same in that razor. So it's just like with modern production razors now, you have to find stuff that fits your preferences. And without experimentation, you're not going to do that. So I love vintage razors, just like I love modern production razors. It's just a matter of finding what fits. What's cool about modern production razors is the superior materials. I love the feel of a stainless steel razor. Pot metal razors just don't have that excitement to them. They're just the finish has a tendency to look a little ugly sometimes. It looks like a cheaper product than a solid stainless steel razor. So the perception of functionality is probably what's affecting people, but no, they work just as good. You just have to find something that works with what you like. Forgive me.
You know, as I look at the Fat Boy and I look at its build, I'm not sure the Fat Boy has been around for a long time. I'm not sure we'll see the Rockwell Model T with the same longevity of the Fat Boy, to be honest. I mean, it remains to be seen, but the Fat Boy is just a marvelously designed razor, and it stood the test of time. So sometimes, you just don't know when I feel the Model T and the way it is, it's a good razor, but it just doesn't feel as good in my hand. And I personally don't feel it will last as long as the Fat Boys, but time will tell.
But again, before we move on to the next subject, the Big Dude Barbas guy is in the audience right now.
Thank you, Mr. Barbas.
I just want to tell him that I am offended that I have never seen a Big Dude Barbas comment on none of my videos.
Oh.
My feelings are hurt. I am deeply, deeply scarred by the fact that he is ignoring my existence, and I just don't understand how he could do such a thing to me. But
now he'll know.
And I am joking. Yeah, I am playing around with that, but I am looking forward to seeing how something like the Rockwell Model T will be in 20 years, if they will still be able to survive. Because again, even though the Fat Boy isn't solid stainless steel construction, whatever the fuck, it's sturdy. And mine, I haven't sent it in for any maintenance, and it feels like it'll last for another 50, 100 years as long as I don't do nothing stupid.
I can understand that. Alfie wanted to talk a little bit about different blade types and their advantage. And he's talking about DE blade versus Artist Club versus Gem. And I would say the DE blades, obviously you don't get as many shaves out of them, but they're cheaper. The Gem blades are quite a bit thicker. Some people do not like Gem blades at all. They work well for me. You can generally get a few more shaves out of them. Artist Club style blades the same, a little bit thicker. They're quite sharp depending on which one you get, and you can generally get more shaves out of them. But really, it's entirely in the realm of preference when it comes to those sort of blades, DE versus SE versus Artist Club. It's just really whatever you prefer. Any of them will work well if you find the razor that works well in them. But the one blade that I hear the most complaints about style-wise is the Gem blades. Some people just do not like them no matter what. Your thought?
I have never been able to warm up to the Gem style blades. I've used them in a Gem G-bar. I've used them in a Gem Micromatic. I probably have upwards of about 15 to 20 shaves with those style razor blades. I just don't like them. And the biggest difference between the different razor blades, the different style of razor blades, has been the thickness and the rigidity of the razors. Something about the gem blades, how thick they are, and maybe how rigid. Something about that just doesn't make them smooth enough for me. Something about I don't know. Again, I don't know the process and how they're manufactured, but they feel rough for me. No matter what I've done, no matter what pre-shave, what process I've used, they've always felt a little harsh for me. And it may be because they're so rigid.
So we're at 8:30, so I'm going to take this time to give a nice spritz with Thayer's magic because it's made by witches. Okay.
I just buy the spray bottle version.
Yeah. There you go. You got it. Johan from, I call him Johan Solo. Shady will like that. He wants to know why we see, at least in the realm of YouTube, so few European soaps on YouTube. And go ahead. I've been answered first, so you go ahead.
Well, I think first off, Americans have so many American options that make it less expensive to get them. It's almost like, why would we? Because frankly, something like Saponificio Veracino, it cost me what, $40 to get that,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sure it may be more expensive to manufacture there because of all the regulations that Europe has for manufacturing soap. Then the import cost, it cost me a lot of money to get it. It's almost like, why would I do that when I could buy a soap for $15, get it shipped for $4? I think the money efficiency of the whole process, it makes it just impractical for us in America to buy European offerings. And there's just not as many offerings. I don't know that many European soaps aside from mass-produced offerings like the
what we call classics.
Yeah, Mitchell's Wolfat tobacco and stuff like that. Me personally, I just don't hear much about the European artisans, if there is such a thing. Well, I know there is Maddie, and I have a Maddie soap right here.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I don't know very many artisans.
For me, I think it's because, especially in North America, we're just almost singularly focused on American artisanal soaps with the labels, with the scents, with the variety. There's just so many, and they're popping up every day, and there's very strong marketing here in North America. There is very strong marketing, whereas in Europe, we don't see those marketed to us like we see the American products, and marketing does matter. That said, I really appreciate the European soaps. I like going to the classics. When I go to the classics, I always say, I don't really need any more than this. They work well. A lot of them aren't particularly expensive, and I really enjoy them. I think it's just a matter of having all these choices in front of our faces all the time, and a lot of them are very reasonably priced, like you said. I would love to have a bunch of SV soaps, but they're pricey, and so it's one of those things where it's for the same reason that they don't have as many soaps from America. It's commerce, barriers to commerce, marketing. There's all sorts of things. There's just so many choices here. I think that's the primary reason, but it certainly isn't because the European soaps aren't good, because I almost always enjoy the European soaps personally.
Anything that I have tried European-wise has been good.
Mm-hmm.
They just happen to be $10 more expensive than what I have here. And like somebody for myself trying to maintain a YouTube channel, that $10 makes a difference. And with how expensive it is to maintain my channel. So it's just not a feasible thing for me to do when I could get like sterling for $12 or whatever the fuck the price is.
Yeah.
Or spend $30 getting insert any random European soap name.
So Ruben asks, what products would we like to see more of, or types of products in 2021?
I would love to see the birth of more mass-produced straight razors. I would love to see some company, somebody invest in the manufacturing of straight razors. We've been waiting years for whoever purchased the Wade and Butcher name to come out with a razor. about once a year they make a comment that they're still moving towards that. I don't know what the hell they're doing, but I would just love to see somebody come up with a solution for a razor, mass-produced straight razor that is of good quality and won't break the bank. If China could make the gold dollars, which are not great, but they can shave you properly with a good edge, and sell them for $3, somebody somewhere in the world has to be able to make a straight razor for $100 or below that is damn good. It just doesn't make sense to me. I know China manufactures shit for cheap, but literally, if they sell it for $3, that means they're making it for 75 cents. Somebody has to be able to do something comparable.
Art says naked armor. And even if you even say the word naked armor in this video, you're going to get ads in your Instagram.
Oh, Art, Jesus.
Please. Art has killed us on that one. We're going to have naked armor ads for 100 years now. I agree with you on straight razors. I personally would also like to see something happening with Badger that happened with synthetics, which was, we talked about this earlier. In the early days of synthetics, Mula had the market cornered, and they were like usually $60 or more for a synthetic brush. And then the Plasan came out, and Sterling and Razor Rock figured out where to source Plasan knots, and they started selling them for under $20, and the bottom fell out of synthetic knots. And the reason why is people figured out that these knots were $1 or $2 a piece. And so I would like to see that same thing happen with Badger, where we're not seeing these crazy extravagant prices. Now, I do understand you're going to have to charge more for your custom knots and custom handles and so on. But if you're just getting a regular plain, regular old Badger knot, and there are some budget offerings now, like I know West Coast has some great Badgers for not a lot of money. Strike Gold has some reasonably priced ones, and some other people, AP Shapeco and others. But I would like to see some of the prices come down and get away from this tendency to have all these so-called exotic knots that are just crazy, exorbitantly expensive for, in my opinion, not good reason. Like I've always said that if I could source some hair that nobody ever seen before, I could call it a Tiger King Joe Exotic knot, and people would come running to buy it. Like they will buy anything that is exotic or has a claim of being exotic. And a lot of times, quite frankly, these knots come from the same places. We know people in the business, we talk to them, and it's just a matter of marketing. And so I would like to see people to be able to get some of these nice knots for a little less money. That's what I would like to see in 2021. We'll see if it happens. All right. The next question's from Gerald Holmes, and he wanted us to touch on head shaving with a straight razor versus DE. And honestly, neither one of us are equipped to answer that because I don't use a straight on my head. I've only ever used one shavette on my head. So Gerald, we're sort of out of our element on that one. And in a subject like this where we just strictly have no expertise, we can't answer it. And so I'm sorry for that.
I am considering shaving my head with the straight during the Christmas vacation. I do work for a school, so I do get the vacation that the kids do. So I will have about 2 weeks off during the Christmas time, probably coming up in 2 weeks. So I am considering shaving my head with a straight razor. So if he checks back with us in a month, I may be able to say something about it.
So we're going to take a few from the crowd here. Just wanted to say I've always respected you guys when I discovered wet shaving 2012. Thank you. Is that Nate or Mel? I can't recall, but both Nate and Mel, again, terrific guys. You have to catch their show, BBS Live on Thursdays. Everybody loves Nate and Mel. I mean, they're universally adored as far as I'm concerned. So thank you, both Nate and Mel. We really appreciate that.
Remember, it's bbs.live. If you guys haven't checked it out, bbs.live on the off weeks of Real Talk. So we're here on Friday. Their show will be next Thursday, bbs.live.
What do you hate most about the new generation of wet shaver? I'm not using that term. Some people use it. We found out years ago when we used that term that there is some connotations that are not good with that term. We'll just say wet shavers. For me, nothing. Because I think everybody brings a new perspective. We don't have to agree on things, but I think if you're advocating for the hobby and you're doing it without attacking people or in an underhanded fashion, it doesn't bother me. David, do you have any thoughts on that question?
Well, in general, I love the new generation of wet tubers, whatever the fuck if you want to say. If I had a complaint, I wouldn't say I hate, but I do have a complaint that I have a feeling that the more recent additions to the community, they make things a little bit more confusing than they have to be. It's shaving, and again,
Hmm.
shaving is very important to me, but it also doesn't have to be brain surgery. So aside from that, I love the new energy that the
Hmm.
new YouTubers have brought, generally speaking. But I do feel that they've added some complications to shaving. Not everybody, but some have made things more confusing.
So the chronic shaver asks, is the edge war over between Junior Gonzalez, the dude of shaving, and yourself?
Well, I think it's officially over. I used his edge that he put on the fucking Parker razor today, and some portions of the razor were sharp, others were
Oh,
not. I did
would
struggle.
you call that a tuggy but sharp?
Half of it was sharp, half of it was tuggy. So I guess
But
sharp and tuggy would make sense.
he can't be
Um,
sharp and tuggy because you already have the sharp and tuggy, but he could be tuggy and sharp.
maybe, and yeah, he really struggled with putting an edge on the back end of that Parker razor. So I think I have officially kicked Junior's ass in terms of the game of hones. It took a long time for him to send me a razor. I think we're 8 months after the fact. But yeah, I think I just spanked that ass.
Mm, there we have it. Okay, let's move on to the next question here. Do you prefer hand-tied knots from China or the USA? That's an interesting question, and honestly, I've only had a few, and it doesn't, I think here's the deal. Labor in the United States is orders of magnitude more expensive than it is in China, and therefore, that's why you're going to have these very, very high prices. So I don't have a preference. David has far more experience with these knots. He can answer.
I prefer hand tied knots from China just for the simple fact that they are
Ooh.
affordable. They are affordable, and the quality is less than the American hand tied knots, but they are close enough for me to be okay with it for the extreme price difference. American hand tied knots are very, very expensive, and they're a luxury that I personally don't feel I need because the hand tied Chinese knots are just so goddamn good now.
Now there are some knots, like Frank's, I think is like 100 something in the realm of Badger. If you have a handle, that's not really, that's like a Paladin will run you more than that. So I would say Frank's custom hand tied is not as expensive as some. You might want to try one of those.
Well, simply, I think those people at Paladin are fucking crooks. The amount of money they're charging for basic traditional ass fucking handle styles with Chinese knots that feel like any other shit, they're outrageous. Again, if you
I
want to buy them, cool, but I'd rather have a hand tied knot from Frank Misa and a handle that I enjoy than to buy a Paladin. That's just
I
my opinion. Agree with it if you will, but I'd rather have a hand tied knot from Frank or Declaration or Bazingo than to buy a Paladin brush, personally.
I must say the Paladin Samurai, I just love that design. I would love to have one, but I'm not willing to pay what they charge for it. That said, when they came out with the synthetic offering, it was higher than it should have been, in my opinion. But again, they're a business; they have every right to charge what they charge, and people will clearly buy them. So it's one of those things where it doesn't really matter what I think or what you think because people are still going to be buying them, and that's how it goes. Ken
Well,
said
as
he's having
consumers,
Paladins reknotted.
we make the mistake as consumers. We support businesses that are doing things that are outrageous. If,
That's
as
true.
a whole, us consumers would smarten up and not support businesses that are pretty much fucking doing us in the ass without any lube, um,
He said it.
they would have they would have to change their business practices. That Paladin fucking synthetic for $100 plus is fucking outrageous. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah.
We've seen the performance of it. They obviously did no research. They had no beta testers, nothing. It was a shitty fucking knot that was placed in one of their handles that, again, looks like any other fucking.
Uh-oh. Did we run into an issue? Looks like we're freezing up a little. Oh, there we go. You're back. Speak.
Oh, good. I actually already finished it. I don't think you heard the end of it.
All right. So BBS Live asks, I'm calling David's edge Daddy's Big D edge. And I would say that it's already the sharp but Tuggy. And so we can't rebrand it now.
Well, I'm in favor of Daddy's edge. That's kind of my thing. You know, but, you know, to each their own.
So Quinn from Ape Shaving wants to know if we will shout out his brush drop. Here we go. Quinn from Ape Shaving has a brush drop, y'all. Go check out Ape Shaving. Go check out his brush drop. He's a cool dude. We've talked to him many times. He's just kind of a regular guy that just happens to be selling brushes.
He's, I believe he's on Etsy. Don't quote me on that, but either way, look up. You guys see the question on the screen. Look up Ape Shaving and check out his brush drop. His headshot brushes are really cool. He turns brushes with various ammunitions inside of them that I really like. He puts a lot of pussy synthetic knots in them, so that doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. But I understand some people like them.
Oh, the amount of times that I cringe during this show is remarkable.
I make you uncomfortable, I know, Chris.
So, Banaka asked, just by looking at the knot, can you tell if it's American made? No, I don't think so.
No, typically you might be able to tell when you use it. The American hand tie knots have a pretty unique density to them that I haven't felt in a Chinese made knot. So yeah, if you're familiar with hand tied American knots, the density is more than what you'd get from a Chinese knot. And you'd have to be experienced with Badger because you can set a Badger knot very low to give it the impression that it's dense or has a lot of backbone, but it's kind of just like an illusion because they set it low. But once you get some experience with them, you can tell the difference, but for me, the payoff for that difference isn't worth it.
All right, let's go to another question. Thank you, Banaka. Thank you, everyone. And Art Shave says, don't talk about those ugly Lakers jerseys.
So Art Shaves, he is salty that the Lakers are going to play with a white and baby blue jersey. Every year, every team now in the NBA come out with their what they call the City Edition jerseys. And this year's Lakers City Edition jerseys are white and baby blue, which they look fucking fantastic. He's just a salty old school guy that wants just the purple and gold, which even though I am an extreme Laker fan, can acknowledge that purple and gold in general is a ugly ass combination.
Well, that name there is FCR Bar. I have no idea how to say your name, sir, but he wants to know the most underrated and most overrated shaving soaps. That's the overrated is difficult because I honestly do not know what is overrated. I always say personally, when I think of underrated, I immediately think about Shannon soaps because relative to price, they are quite good. She has goat's milk formula. That comes to mind. With overrated, the problem with trying to evaluate that is almost everything is good. And so I would say that some of the soaps that are very, very costly are probably overrated and too expensive. But honestly, the soaps are so good, it's hard for me to think of one that's overrated. David?
Overrated, I would say for an Artisan offering, I would say Barrister Man is overrated. For a, I don't know if it's mass produced, but Martin de Condre is also overrated. And underrated, I would agree with you with Shannon soaps. They are a fantastic formula for a good price that people just don't seem to talk about, and I don't quite get it. I know they don't have great looking packaging, but they're a great soap that I really enjoy.
That's true. So let's say, what's your favorite stone to finish on? Is RJ Cisneros. Mine is Izuku. Hey, Rocio.
Yeah, he
How
said
you
hi.
doing? Good to see you. Mine is the Izuku, which is a Japanese. David, your favorite stone to finish on?
I currently have three finishers. Still, the caudicle is my favorite. It just happens to fit everything that I want out of an edge.
It's a good
It is
stone.
sharp enough for my hair growth, and it's just comfortable. It is the most comfortable finishing stone that I have felt up to this point.
True. Let's see what else we have here. Up for a shave, Dave, giving his positive affirmations as always. Great live, and thanks for the insight. Thank you, Dave. We expect nothing but good stuff coming from Up for a Shave, Dave. Here's another one. Peace, love, and blessings. Stay healthy and wealth too. Or I blew that one reading it. Peace, love, and blessings to you. Stay health and wealth to all. Good health and wealth. I butchered that one. I'm sorry, Up for a Shave, Dave, but we get it. We get it. Thank you very much. We really appreciate that. Let's see. Here we go with Raza, who has recently returned. What's your favorite Shannon soap scent? For me, that's a tough one. I like the lavender lemongrass. It's a really good one. The barbershop is very, very good too. Those are my two favorites. Go ahead, David.
I own four Shannon soaps. The lavender and lemongrass is my favorite. I love that shit, man. The lavender is nice and clean, but the lemongrass also makes it non-offensive and just it is fucking great. I love the lavender and lemongrass.
Yeah, really good underrated stuff, Raza. I think you'll appreciate it. So we're going to go back to our questions from the cards here. Daryl, who is a second generation barber from Detroit. He's from the 8 Mile area from the movie 8 Mile, and he mostly made a statement, which is you cannot buy your way into a good shave. That was his statement. He's saying people need to learn to shave. That it pretty much what I've been saying for quite some time now. It's all about what's in your head and your hand, and to a lesser extent the gear. We've seen just this week Johan using a big chef's knife and Maddie Lindholm using a serrated pocket knife. And so again, proving that, and those guys got good shaves out of it, proving that it can be done. So I'm in agreement with Daryl. You really can't buy your way to it, because if your technique is poor, it doesn't matter what you have. It's not going to be great.
Oh, absolutely, I agree. Daryl, he's actually one of my subscribers, and I was talking to him earlier this week through DMs. He messaged me here on Instagram. Real nice guy. Absolutely. It doesn't matter how expensive the gear you have is. If you're a shitty shaver, you're a shitty shaver. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Oh, and just real quick, BBS Live posted that Mike's Natural Soap is never talked about.
It's a good soap.
BBS Live, whether that's Mel or Nate, Mike's Natural Soap is great.
Yeah.
And it was talked about a lot about 3-4 years ago. They just don't do anything exciting. They're solid. They're a really good formula, a great formula at that, but they just don't do nothing. They're not involved in the community. They don't have any exciting scents. They just don't do anything to make you talk about them, other than the fact they have a good base and that's it. But yeah, back to Daryl's situation. Yeah, absolutely. If you're a shitty shaver, it doesn't matter if you have a $10 razor or a $1,000 razor. If you can't fucking shave, you can't shave. It's just that simple.
All right, so giveaway time, courtesy of the Razor Company. And before we do this, I just want to say the Razor Company, they have been doing so much supporting of people over the last few months and increasing their inventory at a pretty rapid click. So if you haven't stopped by there, do yourself a favor and do it. Great service, great prices. I think it's free after $10 shipping within the United States. It is really a hot company for good reason right now. And they have been just supporting people like crazy. So everyone pay attention very closely. Very, very closely. What's the first product that you see on the Razor Company's website? So the first person that tells me what that is, the brand and the product, wins the $20 gift card from Razor Company. So we will wait and see who the first is. We got TRC is the best. Ooh, pick
K
me.
Green, how you doing? K
Love
Green,
that
what's good with
company.
you?
Everybody's frantically Googling right now to see what's on the. Lord Shady wins. Lord Shady wins the holiday soap, which is the. We'll show it to you just so no one thinks there's anything untoward. It would be the Noble Otter holiday soap. So, Shady, I will get your email and we will. We'll get that to you. So thank you very much, Jason at the Razor Company. Thank you, Shady, and thank you everybody else. We really appreciate your support. So let's get another question.
BBS Live is out here really trying to get us to talk about porn.
Corn?
Porn with a P.
They can submit your question and we'll. First soap dupe that made you buy the real frag, Jared from the Thirsty Badger in Canada. That's a good question. I will say that Sterling Executive Man caused me to inquire about Creed Aventus, and I later did get a decant of Creed Aventus from Paul Bombino, who, unless you've been around for a while, you won't know who Paul Bombino is, but he sent me a very, very generous decant of Creed Aventus. Obviously. Yeah, obviously, I wasn't going to buy $300-400 worth of Creed Aventus, but that was the one for me. Anything for you, David?
Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue. Van Yule, Monica Gillum, actually sent me a soap. I believe it was called Aquarius when she first got into like the community with us, and it was a Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue scented soap. I loved it. I bought it. It's a reasonably priced fragrance at about $100 as opposed to $300, which I just can't do. But yeah, I really loved it.
Awesome. So Ben asked, what are your thoughts on horsehair brushes? You go first this time, David.
I have absolutely no interest in using a horsehair brush. They are known to be scritchy. They are known to be knotted or get knots in them. They just don't benefit me whatsoever. I don't like any scritch in my brush, whether it be synthetic or badger. Excuse me. And I've never used one. I don't plan on using one, and no.
Explain what you mean by scritch for someone who might be new.
For me, it's not a roughness. It's almost like a spininess, like a pokiness on your face. Prickly. There we go. That I just do not enjoy.
Okay, yeah, good. For me, I did own a few years ago, and I found them to have too much scritch. When you push them to your face, sometimes they feel a little bit pokey, and they just never had that softness in the tips. They are soft, but it's a weird combination. I think a lot of people would think the horsehair from the mane or tail would be really, really soft, and somehow they're scritchy. And I know that's a traditional shaving term. And also, they're so thin that if you're not careful to comb them out, you'll start getting bald spots in the center of the brush, and they will tangle. And that's the reason why you only see, I think the only company I've ever seen produce them, there might be some others, but Vilong is the only one I'm aware of that I think is out of Spain, if I'm not mistaken. You just don't see very many.
I've seen one other company, and I cannot for the life of me think of the name. We actually had it at Old Town Shaving. I cannot remember what the hell the damn company name, but there is one more that has it.
So Kurt, who has a channel, Solid Shaves, wants to know, will the Fat Guy, that razor that was released by Global Shave, I want to say, which is essentially a replica of the Fat Boy, will the release of that razor cause the Fat Boy price to go down? And my answer is no, it will absolutely not decrease the prices of Fat Boys on eBay or wherever you get it. Your thoughts, David?
I don't think they'll drive down the price at all. I think it's a real niche market for people that would want to purchase a replica of it. I think the actual vintage original production of Fat Boys will be much more desirable, especially if this damn Fat Guy is a bad reproduction. I haven't seen one in person. I haven't seen anyone use one. But if it's good, it won't affect nothing at all. And if anything, it may make the prices of Fat Boys go up if it's a shitty reproduction.
I think you're right. I think it might make, especially newer people, more curious about the actual Fat Boy. And I know when I heard it was being made, my question to people was, are they making it more efficient or is it an exact replica? Because if it's an exact replica, I would rather have the original Fat Boy. I don't see any reason to buy a replica of something you can still get. I think if anything, it would probably make them more desirable, but I guess we shall see. We shall see. So let's go on to the next one. Kurt also asks, will you, myself, and David still be around in 5 to 10 years in the hobby? You go first, Dave.
I will absolutely be here in the hobby. Now, to what degree, that nobody can tell you. Currently, right now, I am absolutely loving the energy of the community. But one way or another, I will be shaving. I will never go back to a cartridge. They are very uncomfortable for me. So I will be in the hobby to one degree or another. The social media aspect of the hobby is a different scenario. I imagine I will be, but it's too hard to say.
I would say it's the answer I always give. God willing, I will be. If I have health and the ability to physically do it, I'll continue to do it. I don't foresee any circumstance in which I wouldn't. It might not always be at the pace it is right now, but I don't have any intention of not doing it. Kurt also asks, how have our daily shaves changed over the years? So up to you first, David.
What do you mean? How have our daily shave?
So starting out, let's say, maybe, or even a few years ago to now, how have things changed for you? Have you learned anything and changed things up? Excuse me.
Personally, myself, the only thing that has probably changed is I use less pre-shave now than ever. Before, I used to do every single shave with a pre-shave, whether it be the Parasso pre-shave cream. I used to use Noxzema because it's very similar in its ingredients to the Parasso pre-shave. Now, I forget to use a pre-shave most of the time. I don't make a conscious effort not to use it, but I just forget about it. It's just not that necessary for me anymore. I use it when I remember, but most of the time I don't remember.
I would say for me, all the prep routine that people start out doing when they first start, the hot towel on the face, and I'm not poo-pooing any of that, so please don't get me wrong. If that's part of your routine that you enjoy, always do what works best for you. But I did not find after a while that really made an appreciable difference for me, that I could go straight cold into the bathroom and just execute a shave, and that holding the hot towel didn't really make any difference. I'd say variety has changed. We just have access to a lot more products, but pretty much doing the same things. I haven't changed a lot. I did change when I started straight razor shaving, the lathering to add more hydration, because when you're straight razor shaving, if you don't have hydration in your lather, it's a problem and it will dry out before you get to the other side, especially when you're new. And so I did change that, but otherwise not much has changed in the last 5-6 years. It changed early on from like 8 years ago to now. It's changed some, but in the last number of years hasn't changed that much. Thank you, Kurt, for the question. And let's see, we have another one here. Up for a Shave Dave wants to know favorite food of all time. David.
I wouldn't say it's a particular genre. I love noodle dishes, whether it be Thai, Chinese, or Italian. I love noodles. I have to have, God damn it, if you put noodles in something, I'll fucking eat it.
For me, it would be a ribeye. If I had my choice, it would always be ribeye. That's my favorite thing to eat. I don't eat it often, but it is my favorite. And Howler X said, pick me. Sadly, we weren't picking, but thank you for the question there, or a comment. What is a good way to learn to use a straight edge on your head? Gerald Holmes asked. That's another one of those questions that neither one of us are probably equipped to answer. You might want to talk to someone like Ronnie Greer, who shaves his head with a straight razor, or even Johan from Shave and Butcher, or even Marion, who has shaved his head with the razor a few times. Honestly, we don't have the experience.
I was there live with Marion when he first did it. He even brought me on to the shave with him. And simply, it's just with straight razor shaving with your face. You can watch the videos, but just doing that shit, that's the most important thing. You just got to do it. Be careful while you're doing it, but you just got to do it in order to learn. No amount of videos will absolutely prepare you to do it. Hey, what's up, Ramos?
So Carlitos wants to know, what's your favorite color? Mine, he said he's just kidding, but we'll answer anyway. Mine tends to be blue. Actually, three: blue, black, and gray are my favorites.
I'm a blue guy. I'm a royal blue guy.
Hey, Roseanne.
Hi, Ramos. I want to say hi to Ramos.
Rosie wants to say hi to Ramos. Here, put these in real quick.
Special guest.
Hello.
Y'all.
Hi, baby.
Where
you at?
doing?
He's in the comments. You're not going to see him right now.
I can't
Oh.
see him.
Let me
he
take
already
that down.
commented.
You might be able to see it.
Goodbye.
I love you.
Precious, tender moments.
One of my football boys, one of the kids that I've gotten the closest with personally, he's in the comments. I don't know if he's still there,
Oh,
but
okay, cool.
he's a good, very talented football player and wrestler. So he is wrestling in the next level.
Let's do the straight gold shave. Santa's chestnuts.
No, I love mine.
You want to do the giveaway? Santa's chestnuts. Straight gold shave.
You know what?
New soap.
Actually, we're past the hour.
Doesn't
I
matter.
have to pee. So I don't mind being past the hour, but I gotta pee. I just drank that big ass beer. So go ahead and handle the giveaway. I'm going to fucking urinate, and I'm gonna stick the phone outside of the restroom so I can do that real quick.
So what happens when we're doing live stuff, everybody? So let's figure out a way to do the straight gold shave. This is going to be another quick fire sort of way of doing it. So please pay attention. This is going to be a trivia question. And the question here for the straight gold shave Santa's chestnuts is, the first person to get it wins. So please keep that in mind. What is the name of Frank Mises from Straight Gold Shaves custom badger knot? First person that answers wins. So we will wait and see who the winner is. The name of Straight Gold Shaves custom badger knot. I'm going to watch and see who the first one is who answers the question. The name of the knot, Straight Gold Shave. No. Oh, Magic Mike wins. Magic Mike wins. Severton was really close. It is called the executive knot, and it was actually named in a previous Real Talk. So if you had been paying attention, you would have got it. Magic Mike, you are the winner, and we'll figure all that stuff out. We'll figure shipping and all that. I might have to throw in on that because I didn't ask Frank if he would ship to Canada, so we'll help him out if need be. No problem with that. Magic Mike, this is the second time Magic Mike has won. He's pretty lucky on these giveaways, it seems. Yeah, Magic Mike's an excellent guy, so we're very happy for Magic Mike. The last time we did multiple giveaways, like Magic Mike won, and I think Jared, I think like 2 or 3 Canadians won last time. So the Canadians are sometimes quite lucky, it would appear. I wonder how long David's going to be. He could go on for quite some time, so let's see if we have any.
I'm back.
Well, Magic Mike won. And the question
Magic Mike won?
Yeah. The question was, what's the name of Frank Mises' custom badger knot? And it was, do you remember the name?
The executive.
Executive. Yeah, it was going to be bad if you missed that because we named it on the show.
For real. Nah, dude, that's great. I'm happy. I love me some Magic Mike. Magic Mike is one of my favorite fucking people ever. So hey, dude, I'm glad Magic Mike won.
So BBS Live comment, BBS Live and Real Talk collaboration. Of course, we'll collaborate with Nate and Mel anytime because those are our.
Is it going to be one of those situations that on one Friday, Nate will be on here with me, and then on Thursday you'll be on with Mel? That'll be funny.
Yeah,
I think that'll be pretty interesting.
Yeah, we can definitely do that. We'll work something out on that. That's awesome. So Sepperton Shave says JR eats ketchup on his steak. Ooh.
Oh,
if you
dude,
like it,
that's sinful.
You know, honestly, if somebody likes it, I'm not going to fault them for it. Like it's kind of like it's your steak, eat it your way. It's your steak,
I will judge and damn you to hell if you eat that shit well done, and if you put ketchup on the steak,
Why you gotta
you
damn him to
deserve,
hell? That's not necessary to damn him to
you will be
hell.
damned to hell if you eat fucking steak either of those two ways.
It's pretty good stuff. By the way, thanks to Frank for the giveaway. Let's see. Why do we suspect, and I forgot to write down here who asked the question, so I apologize. Why do we suspect some businesses folded? And for me, it's just simply a matter of economics or what those businesses had going on in their lives. I know some people folded up. They were doing just fine, and they just didn't want to do it anymore, and some just weren't doing well. David, do you have any thoughts on that?
One of the big ones that I've seen, and it's happened to some of my favorite artisans, yeah, they just don't have the time for it. They have a real job that pays them real money and has benefits, retirement, that whole deal. And it's just the amount of stress that's added with having your own side business and trying to maintain with new scents and customer service. It's just not worth it.
I gotta say that Carlitos said he has La Befana on his list from Strike Gold. That's a good one. That's a good one.
I haven't tried it yet.
Oh, I think you will really like La Befana. I do. I think to me, it's in the realm. It's of that BDLM2, or excuse me, 1. It's good. It's good. I really like it.
If it's similar to that BDLM one, it's definitely up my alley. I love that shit. I have it right here. I smell it all the time. Oh,
So Jared from the Thirsty Badger, and by the way, go check out the Thirsty Badger website. He does have some bowls and shaving wares, especially if you're in Canada. Go check that out. Really nice guy. Spam, yes or no? And I presume by spam he doesn't mean in the IT sense. He means good old-fashioned gelatin all around it, hunk of meat spam.
I love spam. I'm a ghetto kid. Oh, we had spam.
Do you fry it?
I fry it. I put it in my top ramen with some egg. I love me some spam.
Shady
To this
said,
day,
"Ooh."
I will slice some spam, stick it on some toasted bread, and eat it as is. It's
You gotta fry
fucking
it.
salty as shit, but I love it.
You got to fry it. Must be fried. It's like bologna. It transforms the meat when you fry bologna or spam, in my opinion. It starts out and it's like, yeah, and then it's, Kim, I'm an IT guy. That's my profession. My previous profession was law enforcement, and prior to that, military. Teriyaki spam. I never thought of that. That's an interesting idea.
I actually just seen teriyaki spam for the first time ever at a Mexican market down the street.
I never thought of that.
They have it, dude.
Wow. All right. So the next question comes to us from Junior, the dude of shaving, Mr. Sharp but Tuggy. And he wants to know what we thought about the return of Ray Pope to YouTube after a 4 or 5 year hiatus. And for me, I was very excited to see it. I hope he'll turn his camera to landscape as opposed to portrait. But I like Ray. He's a friend. We've been friends for a long time. He's a funny guy. He has a way of just, poking people and having fun. He's a generous guy, too. A lot of people don't know that he's a super generous guy. He's a super nice guy. The first thing he said to me the other day, he hadn't talked to me for a couple of weeks, is, how's your mom? How's your family? Super nice guy. So I'm happy to see Ray back. Your thoughts?
Any amount of Ray Pope I could get, I'm all for it. He looks like a big old rough, greasy ass Italian man, but that dude is one of the most caring individuals I've ever met. I've had the pleasure to spend a couple days with him when I was out in Chicago for the Chicago meetup, and he's just so attentive. He wants to make sure that everybody around him is comfortable and having fun, and he just has an energy to him. You're around him, you feel that he's near. And man, Ray Pope, I love me some Ray Pope. Any way I could get Ray Pope, I'll have it.
Sepperton wants to know if someone will buy him a new phone. Oh, that's good stuff.
He's working on that old Razor. He's working at that old fucking Motorola Razor.
So, quick plug for Junior. Junior did a video this evening that I just saw a couple of hours ago, where he does a 60-second review, and it was good. Like, it was It was way different from anything he's ever done. It was concise. I don't even think there was any cursing in it. He was straight down to business, and I thought, who is this guy? Like, it was really good. Did you see it?
Oh, I really enjoyed it. He got that inspiration from a cigar reviewer that both me and him watch. It's a cigar page called Should I Smoke This?
Mm-hmm.
This gentleman, he has a full-on review, or it usually lasts anywhere between 8 and 10 minutes, and he has a 60-second reviews. Well, Junior has made it his own, and I love that 60-second video. It was really cool.
What? Junior just deleted the video. I don't understand why he would do it. It was excellent. Sally said she loved the way that Ray Pope smoked with the cigar in his mouth, and yeah, that was quite good. Yeah, that was a great video by Junior.
I actually did that one time, dude. I smoked a cigar and shaved with a Wolfman razor while using a Wolfman brush as well in a video. I don't know why I did it, but I did it.
So Daniel has a very interesting perspective here, and I think there's some validity to it. He says things really keep getting better, like brushes, soaps, razors, and so on. But speaking of DE, really no change in blades. I know Rockwell's having blades made, but we really haven't seen any blades come on the scene in the last number of years to where people just went, oh my goodness, it's a brand new blade. Nobody's ever heard. There's been no really new, because I think they're mostly all made in old factories.
Yeah, I believe that almost all, I don't know of any American-made blades to this day, but I think all of them are made in old factories, literally probably 70 years old plus. And I believe because they're all in foreign lands, I don't know if American artisans or Canadians speak English as well. I don't know if the language barrier is worth trying to get anything made to their specification, or if it's even possible. I would imagine that changing specifications on a razor could cost a lot of money in machining.
Well, when people, there was a gentleman, Daniel, there was just saying he didn't know how they could get better. I know that I tried years ago. Ray Pope actually sent him to me, a Persona 74, the one with the Tuscan, I can't remember the type of steel. Tungsten. Anyway,
those are fucking great.
You could use that blade forever. I don't remember how many shaves I had on it, but it was greater than 10.
I got over 20. I used one of those blades, and I got over 20 shaves off them.
There was definitely something to that, and so I'm sure that would be very expensive to produce today. But if you can get your hands on one, it is an exceptional blade. If you get a legit Persona 74, that's that sort of steel. Let's see what we have here.
I think they go for around $10 a blade on eBay. You can still find them. I know my homie Tony Scott. He's the one that sent me that one blade, and yeah, I got over 20 shaves. I don't remember specifically what I got, but yeah, over 20 shaves with that blade.
So Raza says, now that Ray is back, Italian barber needs to bring back Al Sapone. Sure, why not? I say bring it back. Allow people to enjoy that one.
I do not want to see Ray Pope on any other fucking soaps because he fucking harasses me about it nonstop. No more Ray Pope soaps, goddammit. I do not want to see Ray on another soap because he rubs it in my goddamn face.
Carlito says Valerian steel blades. Oh, that's good, Carlitos. Very good.
Chris, are you gonna do the Real Talk post show over on Lather and Blade?
No, not this evening. But you're welcome to open that up. Please go ahead if you're interested. So BBS Live says the tracking still hasn't changed, David. That means Nate. That means he's not getting his razors.
I'm so devastated. So I bought a new Martinez blade, and I sold the one that I had to Nate because I just needed to make room in the collection, and I couldn't spare that money like that. And he was supposed to get it today, and it's been delayed, and I am heartbroken because I so wanted to see Nate use that damn razor.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting for Nate to be using straight razors now. I'm very happy for Nate. Let's see. How do you guys dispose of old blades? Smiles for Miles asked. And Smiles for Miles, by the way, makes brushes. If you're interested, go check him out. Myself, I have a crystal vodka bottle, and it looks like a skull. And I drop the blades in that. So Google if you're interested, or if you like to drink vodka, crystal vodka. It comes in a skull. I pop the blades down in there, and I've been doing it for at least 5 years, and it's not even remotely. It's maybe not even half full, and so it's just going to be a big old glass skull full of, and it's clear, by the way, so you can see the blades in. It's kind of cool, I think. What do you do with yours, David?
Bam. I have this old Girl Scout cookie tin. You can use a coffee tin or anything that has some metal to it. You could either cut a hole into the top, or this one came with it. I epoxied the lid on it, so nothing I do will take that off. And I just drop the blades in here. This I've had it for probably about 5 years, and it's not even halfway full.
Very nice, very nice. And Sepharton Shea says, lather and blade post game. Yeah, you guys are welcome to open that up. I probably won't be there this evening, but let's see. Ruben Hernandez asks, favorite beer and style of beer. Do you ever pair a drink with a shave theme? For me, no. And this is one of my favorites, Stella Artois, but otherwise I tend to like lagers and things like that. I'm not into IPAs personally. I've tried them, but they're a little bitter for me generally. David?
It depends on what purpose they're for. If I'm drinking to get wasted, if I want to get drunk, I'm gonna drink a Mexican style lager. I'm gonna drink Dos Equis, Modelo, something along those lines. If I'm drinking for like dinner, excuse me. If I'm drinking for dinner, I'll drink something heavier like a Blue Moon, Boston Lager. And if I'm chilling with you guys, I want to be able to sip something. I'll drink something higher alcohol level, stout, also something thick and enjoyable, but nothing shave related. I don't know. I'll leave that to DK or Hops and Strops.
Lord Chady says, Nate me a video dancing in Zumbas, and I think he meant to say Nate made a video dancing in Zumbas, and I like it. Nothing wrong with that if you like it.
I believe it. I believe that it happened.
Let's see. We have another one here, and it is, I don't know where it went. There we go. Art asks, David, which artisan is making your soap?
Well, SoSharp Limited is going to be releasing a soap. I am going to be releasing my third soap from the brand. Because I'm not a soap maker, I do collaborations with artisans. My concept is what kind of gave birth to the Ariane and Evans brand, to the shaving shop. I'm not going to release who's making the soap yet, but I am excited about the next release. It'll be early next year. I imagine no later than February. I'm going to pass all the Christmas hoopla. I am going to keep that to myself. It's not going to be a big shock once it is revealed who's making the soap, but I am excited about it because it's a scent that I've really been wanting.
Is there any chance that you'll put Junior on the label so he'll be the second person of color ever on a shaving tub label? You being the first?
No, because Junior has no color.
Well, Junior has a color. Perhaps it's not dark necessarily, but he has a color.
He's supposed to have color, but there is a real absence of color there.
By the way, if anyone who's still here still has questions, please submit them because we're almost at the end. So if you have any other subjects you want to see discussed, please hit us up right now. Before we get to the last couple of questions on here, just wanted to go through a couple of picks for the last couple of weeks. And mine, I just used it the other day. The video hasn't aired yet. This scent is just so good. It is Strike Gold Shave, Honest Abe. It's like a citrus punch right between the eyes, and I can't get enough of it. The aftershave is still available. I don't know if the soap right now is still available, but it's such a great scent. I just love it. I mean, it's so good. And the other one is, I made a video as well, this Wickham Super Smooth, because I just love this tub. This is a pretty large tub, if you see it relative to my head. Large, and thin, very stackable. It makes me wonder why these tubs aren't available, because if you're somebody who likes to load off a tub, there's plenty of room. It's sort of reminiscent of Douglas's old tins, the ones we call film canister. Not quite as big, but in the realm of that, but it's plastic and it seals up really nice. This soap is, I don't know, probably 5 years old, still has plenty of scent, and I like this tub. And so I like the Club Cola too. It's an excellent scent by Wickham. Those are mine. You have any picks, David, since the last time we talked?
Oh, man, I don't know if I brought this up in the last one, but Barbershop de los Muertos has just absolutely blown my mind. It has moved into my favorite scents. It may be my favorite scent right now. I love this stuff. It's just damn good. It's just that simple. And it helps that the Kodiak base from Murphy and McNeil is also additionally one of my favorite bases to use it. I love the ease of lathering. I love the feel of the lather on my face. I love the weight and density of it all. It's just fucking good, dude.
Yes.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts
scent
about it, dude. I fucking love it. It is one of the it's a unique scenario where this soap blew my mind. And I've used hundreds of soap. Chris, you know how it is. We have a YouTube channel for a long time. We've used probably hundreds of soaps.
Yes.
This one just made an impression on me that's very unique and that
It's
very
very
few soaps have done in my history of all this.
And I would say if you're in North America, they're another one of those companies that if you order, I don't even know what the limit is, but it's free shipping. It's a very low. It's like, I don't know, $10, $15 or something. But once you hit that mark, it's free shipping. It's not $50, $60, $70. I mean, you buy soap if you're in United States. I said North America, but United States. It's very reasonable, and even I think their international shipping wasn't bad. I saw some of the rates on that, if memory serves. It's nice company, good customer service, great product. Murphy and McNeil. It makes me want to use it a little bit more because I haven't been, I use those two, but it makes me want to pull out some of my other ones because it really is good, and you don't see them as much as I think you probably should. It's well priced. It's good stuff.
Hey, and going back to one of your picks, dude, that Patriot base for Strike Gold Shave, I really like that shit too. It is a good base, and I really enjoy that Honest Abe scent. I do want the aftershave on that one. I'm definitely going to be ordering it probably after the holidays. Holidays are reserved for buying gifts for family. But after the holidays, that shit will be mine.
So Carlito says Murphy and McNeil offers free shipping on anything in the United States. And so you can't beat that. Like, that's just, look, shipping sometimes adds up, and so that's good value. And so really good company to deal with, in my opinion, Murphy and McNeil. Anything else that you were really enjoying?
No, not in particular. Again, I'm having fun honing, but aside from that, that soap has really made the lasting impression on me lately.
Okay, let's go to a few more comments and keep them coming if you like. It is completely up to you. Let's see. Will the David soap feature the Mexican blade? That would be awesome.
No, it will be not. It will not have the Mexican blade.
Shady.
Although I am a fan of the Mexican blade design, no, it will not be featured on the soap.
I love the Mexican blade, and every time I see it, it makes me think of, we were just talking, and David one day says, I had a dream one night, and I was slaying vampires with Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Blade, and I'm like, there's no way. And he was like, oh, I love that dream. I would love to have it every night. He was dead serious. He wasn't even joking.
I'm dead ass serious. It was a good ass time, dude. There was real ass crazy ass vampires in that goddamn dream, and I was having a blast fucking sticking it to them, man. I would have that dream anytime.
Oh, that's good. And BBS Live asked, how is Rocio feeling?
She's feeling pretty good. She hasn't got any worse. Again, it's flu-like symptoms. If she stays at this level of illness, we would definitely have gotten off easy. If it is in fact the Rona. If not, either way, right now she's maintaining a certain level of illness, and I'm hoping it sticks to that and progressively gets better.
Oh, we want to send best wishes to our boy Oive. He is recovering from the Rona. He's a paramedic in New York City. He told me yesterday or the day before he was in his like 12th day and he was just coming on the other side of it. So it sounds like he's going to recover well. But shout out to you, Oive.
Oive Chapo, baby. Long time member of the community.
BBS Live says YouTube wet shavers can't stand. I usually do, Nate, because sometimes I do it in the restroom and I will stand, but tonight I decided not to. But David, I don't know about. So he's making fun of you, David.
I see no reason to stand during this shit. I'll leave that to the fucking BBS guys to fucking be bouncing off the walls and shit. I don't need all that.
Let's see. Why doesn't Holy Call get as much love as A&E? Their soaps are outstanding. I would say yes, the soaps are outstanding. For me personally, two reasons. One, price, and two, the sense. A&E is generally much better priced by quite a bit than Holy Cow. And I haven't always enjoyed Holy Cow. I have to have an absolute ringer to buy Holy Cow at its price. It has to be something I know I'm going to love. And that's the reason. But it is an excellent soap. David.
Simply, A&E is a member of the community. They're an active member of the community. Peter not only takes part in some conversation, but he's actually smart enough to send out product to reviewers. And even though he gets fucking crucified sometimes by how long it takes him to shave or his weird label designs, he has the balls to send his product out for reviews. Holy cow, I don't think I've ever been contacted by that. So there's really not a whole lot of reason for me, kind of similar to the European artisans. Do I want to spend $30 on this item or do I want to spend $20 on something? And I'm probably going to lean more towards the $20 items as opposed to the closer to $30 items.
Makes sense. Let's see what else we have here. And by the way, we're getting towards the end. So if you have any more, now is the time for your wise remarks and comments. Let's see. Are you going to put your photo on the soap, David? Banaka asks.
No, I think that would be incredibly arrogant of me to put my own picture on the goddamn soap. I would leave that up to another artisan to honor me with my picture on the soap, but it's just not going to happen. And that's okay. I love the artisans all the same. But yeah, no, I'm not going to be the one to put my own face on the soap. That would be weird.
What if Junior has his face on the soap before it happens with you?
He has to get a tan.
Well, I mean, what would you say if like next week somebody contacts Junior and they're like, I got to put the Dude of Shaving on my shaving soap label?
Hey, dude, I'm not one of them hating ass bitch ass motherfuckers. Dude, I would congratulate Junior. I say that's a fucking honor for you, Junior. And hey, good, I'll buy it, even if it's some fucking nasty gourmand scent. I'll still buy that shit, man, because I'm gonna support my boy. But yeah, I'm not a hating ass bitch like some people, so I'm definitely not gonna be bothered by it.
So Brandon says the Carbon CXTI versus Blackland Blackbird. How do they compare? I do not know. I'm not equipped to answer.
I've used the Blackland Blackbird, the stainless steel version. It is a fantastic razor. I love it. The handle is a shitty design. It's slippery. I've never used the titanium version of the Carbon. I do prefer the stainless steel Carbon over the Blackbird. The Blackbird is slightly more blade feel to the point where I feel you have to be a little bit more careful while using it. The Carbon, it just fits my preferences to the T. I love the Carbon. It is my favorite safety razor to this date, and it'll be hard to surpass it.
BBS Live asks, no guys, are there any YouTube wet shavers you can't stand? No, I don't think there are any YouTubers that I can't stand. And honestly, even if there were, I don't think there's anything productive about talking about people you don't like, or, it'd be best to tell them personally, I would say.
In terms of can't stand, no. There's some that I don't fuck with, and I don't really care about them too much, but they're not active, so they're not worth mentioning. But yeah, there are some that I don't get. I don't care for.
Laughs.
I
Junior says
I think some of them are fucking arrogant. They pretend to be more knowledgeable than what they really are, but they're not really around much, so they're not a fucking factor. So fuck 'em.
All right, let's see. We have one Sharp Sally who says, David, is your soap named Sharp and Tuggy? It should be. It should be.
No, it is not. It will not be named Sharp and Tuggy.
If Sally suggests it, you got to do it.
I'm hoping that name dies. I may have to wait for Chris to pass away first before it dies, but yeah, no, it won't be named Sharp and Tuggy.
We need So Sharp Sally to be really pushing this on Instagram because I know she's going to get far more looks than I will. So we need So Sharp Sally, or excuse me, I said So Sharp Sally. I meant to say One Sharp Sally pushing the Sharp Tuggy edge. Got to do it because we need that badly. It was very, very
changing it to So Sharp wouldn't be a bad idea though.
So Sharp Sally, yeah, that'd be pretty good. By the way, I want to mention, I think on here is Carry On Steady. I was supposed to call him today. I got tied up. I didn't, but it turns out he was busy too. So Justin, I will give you a call tomorrow. Thank you very much.
I agree, BBS Live. I think that's neat, but I'm not sure.
Oh, that's so bad, Shady. That is so bad. He said, "Can one Sharp Sally change her name to One Sharp Tuggy?" That is so bad. Shady is very bad.
Wouldn't it be One Tuggy? One Tuggy? Huh?
Thanks, Justin. I appreciate that. Oh, that's very, very funny. I gotta admit, Shady, his stock is moving up. He's been doing some good things. So I really have been entertained by he's he started off and he was commenting a little bit, but now we see the humor coming out of Shady. So I have really been enjoying that personally. Last call for any questions. Put them in there now because we'll stop it here in just a couple of minutes otherwise. So if you have any questions, comments, things you want to talk about, or if you have any suggested names for David's soap, please let us know. Now would be the time to put those comments in. Sharp and Tuggy would be the best soap ever. I mean, I'm in on that. I'm buying it. I don't care what the scent is. I don't even care if it's something I don't like. I would buy Sharp but Tuggy. I mean, that's awesome. Will there be an after show? Not today. Not for me, but David might start a room. Junior says he created Shady. Now it's time for him to destroy him. Oh, man.
Thank you, K Grave 258. I really appreciate it. I hope so too.
Let's see. Anything else?
I don't think Shady has anything to worry about because Junior isn't around enough to destroy anything.
Good point. He's been, hit or miss, but he's been in the last couple of days, so I'm glad to hear that. And we want to thank everyone for joining us. We want to thank the Eraiser Company for the giveaway once again, just being awesome. We want to thank Frank Mesa from Strike Gold Shave for the giveaway. We also want to thank Tony Dellett for the giveaway. We really, really appreciate that. It means a lot. I want to thank mostly all the viewers. Do you have any parting words, David? Words of wisdom or anything you would like to share?
Hey guys, just thank you for everything. We appreciate it. We had a pretty good crowd today. I think we got up to 40 something people. I appreciate you personally, man. Keep coming back. Make sure to support our boys on our off weeks, bbs.live.
Yes.
And keep coming back for Real Talk every other week.
All right. Well, thank you. And please be kind to others, be kind to yourself, and keep everyone in your thoughts and prayers. And I hope everyone enjoys their shaves this coming week. Wishing you all the best, wishing you good health. Thank you so much, and good night. If I can figure out how to stop it. There we go.